Huh? You want some tea? Why you wouldn't run me when I eat? I gotta move the bag right here. So, I don't know what the other one's at, bro. Where's the other one at? I'm putting it down there. I'm putting it up there for it. You slobbering, man. You get like slobber marks and shit. Oh, man. I think it's upstairs, right? What I have to do now? Oh, dog, Mike. That's a lot of phone, Mike. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it, bro. Is it? Oh, that's my heirloom seeds. Oh shit. Lavender. I think I got a taint of food poisoning this morning. That's what it feels like. Wow. I got a taint of food poisoning this morning. Why do I keep doing that? Damn, it's a habit. What's up, baby? We'll get in a minute. I gotta eat something. Mike, yeah, what's going on, beloved? I gotta put some on my sock. I think I got a little taint, a little bit of food poisoning. But it's not my fault, not nobody else's. Usually I would just fast, you know what I'm saying? And not eat nothing and let my system do what it's gotta do. Y'all know I take sea moss and sour soap elderberry, but I usually take 1 tablespoon a day. You can take up to 4 every other day. I took 2 this morning, but I'm not taking none tomorrow. And because it's high in iodine, very high. Sea moss is a mineral powerhouse, and sour soap is high in vitamin C. And together they're magnificent. And I don't take poor man's chlorophyll. I eat mostly greens. That's when I feel like I can feel when I'm not really up to par with the chlorophyll. So today I feel like I had a cold, like after I ate what I ate. About 35 to 45 minutes. And I was like, oh dude. I didn't even think like, shouldn't I eat it? Because it must not have a lot of salt in it. So I took 1B. I didn't take the 2 twice a day. I just took 1. Vitamin K and D. Vitamin C plant-based. sterols, you know, and zinc. And that's it. Eat this. I might eat something later on, depending on how I feel. But I won't eat nothing else after that, you know, depending on how I feel. Take no more supplements. I'm almost done with this, so I'm just waiting for people to come in. I was out and about while I was feeling like this. That's why I didn't come on and read at 12. I met some people and we got to chatting. And you know how that goes. I believe Rondo should be on his way over to Phoenix. And then from there, him and Westside be on the road. So I think he's coming in the morning. No, I think he's leaving at, you know. No, tomorrow's pretty much the shooting anyway. That was good. Yeah, what's this up? Excuse me. Oh! Mighty masculine on you. I was going to get $3. George Jones. I'm gonna read the Gods of Eden and the Anunnaki. Oh, excuse me, because it gets a little more precept to some of the thing of, as far as the knowledge, what could be knowledge of so-called the period of Egypt. Now, there's many periods missing, and one day we'll get into that, talking about the murder of Tartarian kings, and we're talking about between 11 and 1700s, y'all. Tartarian kings all over Earth. Oh yeah, real stuff. You know, a lot of people they wonder about that. They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, Tartarian kings here, everywhere. And like I said, people, they always ask, "Well, who?" I'm like, just give it a moment. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what's going on, family? I always say, when you get into discussing things like that, I used to talk about it, you know, a couple of decades ago about, you know, where the Tartarian kings were murdered. So when I was reading the Heaven Bearers to you, I wanted y'all to actually pick up on that in the Heaven Bearers, and then have you question it. But nobody even thought to question it. So I talked about it on my last Instagram, right? They got rid of the Instagram security team deactivated it for no purpose, because, you know, they feel some kind of way in their feelings. I guess and also aware that it may be, I was about right about 10,000. I guess they felt like, he's telling too much, but that's to their own. You see what I'm saying? Hats off. So that's the reason why I read the Hatha Matters and stuff about Anunnaki, the Greys, the Giants, Because if you make people believe they didn't exist, and then through movies bring them into the foray of something possible, and then unleash a whole lot of hell on them, do you know what you do with those subjects? That's what they are, because they're subjected to the lies. Do you know what it becomes? There's give up. There's no form of fight. You could take the guy who's been running around for the last 2 months shooting people in the head, getting a kick out of it, and unleash something that was always here. They would shoot themselves in the head, because they're all cowards. Okay? They have become too emotionally affixed. They allow every little thing that hits them bother them. No precept or perception of what is in time. All right? All right. So we're going to do George Jones, The Real History of Ancient America. Then we're going to go into the Gods of Eden. Love this book, Snooey Snoop. We're going to get the Reptilians and the History of Humankind, based upon Henry Crane. You know that last name, Crane, like Kramer's. And then we'll get into Behold the Pale Horse. Usually I usually ease right into that after, but we're going to hold that off. No matter of fact, we're going to read that. No, we're going to read that last. Okay? I'm attempt to keep it short, but when I get to reading, because I know the memento, it's like, and it's disruptive to what's going on. All right. So Oh, yeah. So, where's Snoo at? She jetted out? Because I know there's three of y'all in here. I was like, I see two thumbs up, and I'm like, what happened? But anyway, I'm planning on in a month or two. I was looking at fall because I know some people are going to start talking about it now. And when I was talking about on Instagram, some of the Instagram bahooies that started talking about Tartaria all of a sudden in the last 1 or 2 years. Um, I mentioned it, and then sure enough, people were like sharing it and going, "Red, wasn't you just talking about this on your Ask account?" I was like, "Yeah," and I followed them, and they followed me. And so now they're hunting for the Tartarian kings that were murdered. Because I'd mentioned it. I says, "Are you aware that the Tartarian kings were murdered? The queens, a lot of their family?" I says, because in order to stop what's dynastic and eradicate a history, you have to get rid of that. Now, how do you do it? Well, you use people in their guard. And then once that's all done, then like the line of the longsword, you get rid of those who did the dirty work for you. Look at the KGB handbook. Look at Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. Look at in China. Look at Korea. Look at how things happen. Takeovers, the aristocrats and the parties preceding who sided with because of the military coup, whether internal or outside, and what they did with them. I mean, no, Korea, that mom took his uncle out. I mean, look at the people he took out close to him. China, no different. Cousins, uncles. Listen, y'all. I keep saying they're warlike. And I keep telling you that you are war. You just don't know it yet. Does war mean that you have to bloodshed and fire a shot? You got to poison people? War can be very, very different, y'all. Very different. Okay? And Nos confound them. Okay? Claudio Naselli. And cross the Antarctic ice wall. Those who defeated, just hear me out, those who defeated the Anunnaki and the custodians and the Greys and all of them, though they may have had technology that's superior, the most powerful weapon they had was spirit, ascension. How was it utilized? I don't think we'll ever really hear how that happens, because you have to ascertain how powerful you truly are. And the world is looking at you. When I say the world, I'm talking about infinite. All right, not this bullshit. That's not infinite. I'm talking about infinite. They always made you believe in alpha. Are you the alpha? Or are you the... No, motherfucker, I'm neither one of them. I'm the Sigma. And shit, there's another one over that. I'm the fucking Omega. Until you start coming into that truth of rationale, you won't see it no other way. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna wait for it because some other people come in. I'll just start reading anyway, and they'll come in. But I know it's also Friday, as if that means something. I never could get that. When people run around me, thank God it's Friday. Oh, shut the fuck up. You got to go back Monday, if you make it to that Monday. You know what I mean? I guess I'm desensitized to all that because you're in the military. You work 7 days. 20. Anywhere from 12 to 14 to 16 hours. Sometimes straight 7 days. Sometimes you don't even, because you have watches. You get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. What the fuck? Like, I'm supposed to be like, because you did that little sitting at the desk or driving a bus or working at the plant, chatting, 2 breaks, lunch. Like, the fuck? Time off? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. Everybody's all happy. Oh, it's weekend, huh? Like, as if you didn't have half the fucking day to waste, other than the fact that some people don't sleep all fucking week. That's amazing. Well, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I'll pull up a few of them. I have a bunch of them in here. I just don't want to get right into it. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stuff. I still think about the Male. and Vietnam massacre. But they had one every month. That was just the one that was center, where they killed 523 people, and it was sick. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Yeah. There we go. Wow. That's good information. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time with this. Now, even if they decide to remove some stuff, it don't matter. So, you got to remember that the Tartarian kingdom went up into the 19th century, people. See, that's what history doesn't teach you that. Why? Because the people who are the betrayers of all life, the Ashkenaz, and those who work in hand with them, the usurpers, don't want you to know that. If you knew that, and if y'all start Googling stuff, you'll see, like I was stating, that I've been talking about Tartaria and reading up and studying on it since 1978, since I was 12 years old. Getting whipped, getting in trouble. I really, really was, y'all. And now, since 2019, everybody, well, a handful, but not everybody wants to talk about it since 2021. Ain't that funny? And I'm grateful that I kept talking about it. I mean, you got to think about the Holy Roman Empire. What really is it? Is it based upon the Vatican, or does it go way back? No. They made you believe in Troy, Helen of Troy, and all that shit without you knowing the truth of its existence. That it was a Tartarian kingdom, like Greece, and that all those countries existed right here. There were many countries. Now they got you believing the United States. These are still countries, and these are not the names. Or at least they're not pronounced the way they are. Like Chicago, Chalanga. I mean, you got to remember this. And this was the Republic of Tartaria. What would make it a republic? Well, you look at the Republic of Congo. What makes it a republic? The Republic of China. The Soviet Republic. You see, they have destroyed history. It's so bad that people can't even conceptualize or conceive what laid before not that long ago. Not that long ago. You have 3 main generations in a century. Then how many generations from those 3? I'm talking about those who have a child, have children every 30 years. The first, like they wait till they're 30 to be established, knowing that they were supposed to live anywhere between 300 to 500 years old. Are you starting to pay attention now? All of a sudden, most people aren't even making it past 20 or 40. You're having a hard time digesting this? You think that as by coincidence or quinking that they wanted to drop quality for quantity, as if everybody was starving, but the numbers kept increasing? But yet I have read over and over on factual, Snopes.com can't even debunk, histories of population control and the narrative, and those who have been infiltrated or put or blackmailed to partake by small numbers. Well, let me go ahead and get into the reading because I don't want to waste y'all's time. And I need to fight this off. The brothers will be coming in tonight. I think they're gonna be at the hotel though. I don't think they're gonna. They know me. I'm not a vampire, y'all. I'm straight up wolf. You know what I'm saying? I'll meet you at the gate, but I'll curl up, burp, fart, and go to sleep. Anyway, George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America, Eldermont classic. Yeah, I'm fighting this pretty good. It feels like a cold, y'all, and that's why I knew it's a very mild form of what you call it. I have a cleanse in there, but if I took that, I wouldn't be going no range. I wouldn't be going nowhere. I'd be stuck in here to Monday, y'all. Now I'll be staying upstairs, close to the bathroom. Dead serious, and it's that kind of a cleanse. It's really good. I'll show it to y'all when we get done reading. Anyway, the trading. This right here is the tradition. Excuse me. The tradition, that sardines and stuff was good. That vinegar's got my throat burning a little bit. Stop. Don't even do it. Just get up there and sit down. The tradition of having first touched at Florida is as remarkable as the means of nature whereby it was accomplished, which will be investigated and established in the last pages of this volume. Now we're talking about as far as the navigation and those who sail towards the west and across the Atlantic Ocean. Now we know it's all a lie. We know that Cristobal, we'll say Christopher Columbus. We know that's not his name. Cologne. He was visited, what was it, about several years before 10 years before he even came here by us. Wasn't nobody with no feathers in their hair wearing some long clothes. Our people were dressed for the ocean, for the weather, and not no wooden boat in a steel ship, a steel ship. Okay, it is what it is. And excuse me. Cortez wished to sail around the Bay of Honduras, the point of Yucatan, and thence into the Gulf of Mexico, and it wasn't called that, and inquired if there were descriptions of those coasts, because the Gulf had everything to do with the Choctaw, by name. Mexico was an island. Like y'all gotta dig this, man. Anyway, and inquired if there were descriptions of those coasts. Now Montezuma instantly presented to the Spaniard maps and charts of the entire coast, and from these, Cortez steered and sailed in his perilous voyage around Honduras. And by the correctness of the charts, he accomplished his expedition in safety. In this account, he wrote home to his emperor and master. Emperor and master. Charles V. It is consequently history. No argument is therefore required to prove their knowledge and that of their ancestors in the science of navigation, and what people in the Asiatic world were such pilots and mariners as the ancient Tyrians. If the Mexican Aborigines had sprung from a race like the Israelites of the North, hold on, let me back up. Let me see this again. I'm gonna read it to you again. As the ancient Tyrians, you want to know what the relationship between the Jew and the Negro is, right? Okay. Who do you think's lying about our history? Anyway, like the pilots and mariners as the ancient Tyrians, if the Mexican Aborigines had sprung from a race like the Israelites of the North, having no knowledge of navigation, it would have been impossible to have had maps and charts from their remote ancestors, and to have continued the scientific practice of that knowledge among themselves. I know some of y'all just probably dismiss something. I want you to listen closely. And what people in the Asiatic world were such pilots and mariners as the ancient Tyrians. That's not diluting or pushing away from. Pay attention, okay? If the Mexican Aborigines had sprung from a race, and this is in parentheses, like the Israelites of the North, and having no knowledge of navigation, it would have been impossible to have had maps and charts from their remote ancestors. So they had maps and charts, of course, y'all, and to have continued the scientific practice of that knowledge among themselves. Lose to the fact. One and the same, people. This is another strong proof of the two races of Aborigines on the Western continent, the Israelites and our brothers. That's why people have a hard time understanding what really was the Olmec and the G, because you got to remember the Olmec traveled up. The G traveled up. Olmec held in place after the fall, and of the different means whereby their migrations were accomplished. Sahagan also relates that from testimony of tradition and their historical paintings that their ancestors as a colony arrived on the American coast, first touching at Florida before the Christian era. It should be observed that this account by the Spaniard was written over 300 years ago. It was then laughed at but the time was computed both by the Aborigines and Sahagan. The former, as well as the latter, had a knowledge of the Christian era, as will be proved in the third volume. And that knowledge was conveyed to them after the arrival of the colony. No, because we founded Europe. We was always traveling back and forth. I've been telling people this. If you want that hidden, then you bring a bunch of babies, Cabbage Patch babies here, people who we knew. And you bring them here and you nurture them up. And the ones that are older, they give you a hard time, you put them in the old ancient big old homes of energy and combat centers, and you call them asylums. Or you call them crazy houses, wards, to which they murdered and shot them up with all kind of stuff to see how it would have an effect on us as well. And eradicate their history with the younglings and teach them the lies as if they belonged here all the time when they came from over there. Displaced by this, look, man, this displacement by immersion in a bunch of, why you think they went as far as better than MK Ultra and all that other stuff? Okay. That knowledge was conveyed to them after the arrival of the colony. And nearly 15 centuries before the conquest by Cortez. 15 centuries. The ruins in ancient America, together with relative facts, prove that Sahagan's account in regard to time is correct, and that their original ancestors did arrive before the Christian era. So he said the Aborigines up north were the Israelites. That has nothing to do with no fucking religion, people. Tartary. The great inventors, the builder. Why do you think we invented so many things here and it's been stolen away and everybody's running around as if they've done something and ain't done nothing great? How do you run around talking about white power and you ain't invent nothing? You ain't create anything. You talking about Chinese are smartest and it's coming out all over the colleges that you're getting paid and cheating for people to have these great. Because every time I heard one of them Chinese playing, no disgrace to them. I love my Chinese brothers and sisters. What I'm saying is, playing the violin. We've had our people. I know brothers and sisters have been doing that since. And you go in the history books. And how they had to lie about a lot of the brothers over in Germany and Italy. You know, when you think about Othello or Beethoven, and it's the lies, and they continue even with the truth being out there. Anyway, the same historian says that from their historical traditions, the Mexican Aborigines were originally a colony, which term may be received as explanatory of their small number, and that only 4 had they been. Not 4 as in F-O-U-R, but 4 had they been. A colony, according to the modern and general acceptation. So we know they were great numbers. We know this is bullshit. Anyway, of the word, whatever small is in the conglomerate of things, there would have been some motherland to claim for her foreign children, but none appears upon the books of history because they don't want you to know about Atlantis or land of Mu. With the goddamn Master Fraud played an identity and created that bullshit. Talking about Moors and shit. Would sell out niggas who would betray their own people. Anyway, they then arrive before the Christian era. This then places them in a positive position, for the nation from whence they came must have existed before that sacred period, and the nation as a people must have had knowledge of and the means of navigation. They knew everything, since it is already established that they arrived in that manner. Now the mind's eye must instantly glance at the Tyrians as the people having those means and being in existence anterior to the Christian era. They just have to keep putting that in there. The Tyrians did compose that colony, okay, but sent forth from their own land by care and affection, but driven forth, as we will prove, by terror and despair. And the Tyrians weren't no pale skins. Did any of y'all go ahead and look that up? I was just wondering if any of y'all might do that. But they also want midnight black and mahogany. Okay? Just want to let you know that. Okay? Because, a lot of y'all still run around with racist ideologies and you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. You need to get your heads out of that place of despo. Doesn't mean that we got to make everybody righteous and fix everybody. You just need to know that for your betterment of awakening the truth. Okay, I'll mark this. There we go. Awesome. Excellent. We'll get this tomorrow. It's going to be excellent. This is where it starts. Every time it gets pretty good when you start listening to stories and not just descriptions of damn buildings. There's a few more in here, but it really becomes more pertinent to what I'm reading it, to history untold. You dig what I'm saying? Put this out here because I'm going to make me some crab salad. Crab claw salad. Oh, I love it. So let's go ahead and get to the gods of Eden, the reptilians, the history of humankind, and Anunnaki. Now we know we're gonna pull a little away from the Christian, so we're gonna go in another direction, but it still has the same, to me, prefactor. It's still, there's something there that needs to be heard because it needs to be spoken. This book is very, and it's small. The writings are so small, but anyway. So let's go ahead. The Gods of Eden by William Brantley. Okay. Because we've been talking about unidentified flying objects and all the fuss and muse about that. Okay, and PhDs, blah, blah, with their, the narratives. The agenda has always been there. As we can see, psychological mudslinging is a very poor form in the scientific debate and this kind. It does no one any good, and the labels are usually untrue. And it clouds the real issues. Intelligent and rational people are easily found on all sides of the UFO controversy. And they need that in order to hide it or make it believe it's something else. Or have you know what I'm saying? In 11, it says UFO theories are money-making rackets designed to prey on the gullible. And it is. It is a truism that there are two great crimes in our society, having money and not having money. Both are punished with equal ferocity. It doesn't matter about the rich. As long as you have a class ideology, you will have those who subjugate themselves as if they know everything because of their fiat, and those who have nothing who will humble themselves under the tyranny of the idea that these people are of more importance. That is not what the world was, nor shall it ever be or continue to be. One of the easiest ways to discredit an idea is to suggest that someone has gotten money for expressing it. Now, some UFO critics have made allusions, okay, alluding to charlatans in the past who had duped people with strange ideas, snake oil salesmen, ideas, and who had become rich by preying on other people's gullibility now. And such allusions have been made in an effort to suggest that people who earn money from UFO books or motion pictures are engaged in similar, I would say foolishness, but it says chicanery, okay? Now, please keep in mind that money itself has nothing to do with the validity of an idea. Money is an unpredictable commodity which goes to the deserving and undeserving alike. A handful of people have indeed earned good incomes from books and films dealing with the UFO phenomenon. And the number of people who have done so, however, is very small compared to the many thousands of teachers, lecturers, and writers who are paid, sometimes handsomely, to promulgate more conventional views of the world. We know what that's about, right? Deep conditioning. So if your pockets are deep, can you manipulate media? Can you get something on the front page when most people won't go back to the 12th? Unless it says on page B2, you know what I'm saying? From the front page. And then when you get there, and then you'll see a whole lot of other things for sale. The mind is easily swindled by fiat. And then those who have it, not. You wouldn't even walk up to them because you'll be doing this. Oh, some change. Here, go 5 cents, nigga, get away. You see what I'm saying? The ignorance of being conditioned in a world that is frugal and in the most worst way of fiction. All right, so you get where I'm coming from. Even when it is clear that a few individuals have falsely reported or insincerely, God dog, that is small, discuss UFOs to make money. Now, the UFO phenomenon is not automatically discredited, okay? And profit making has been a motive in nearly all arenas of human endeavor since the earliest days of mankind, which is a lie. That's conditioning right there. Now, if we were to throw out everything to which that was his opinion, you got when you read it, you need to know it's an opinion, subject to subjugate you, to keep you stuck in a certain place, to make you a little biased to something. Books have the tendency to do that if you don't know what you're reading. Okay. If we were to throw out everything to which someone has ever attached profit motive, little would remain of our culture. Okay. Their culture. Fortunately, the vast majority of UFO witnesses and researchers, rich and poor, are sincere in what they say and do. We're going to leave it at that. We'll get to 12 next, which is, it gets good. I don't want to read a whole lot of this because it's very small and it's quite a bit, actually. Okay, so that's a page and a half. That's good reading right there. Just wanted to bring you in with that because when you read stuff like this, you've got to ascertain what's being said. What are they actually saying, and what are they attempting to not just have you stuck reading it. All right? Don't ever get stuck reading something. Allow yourself to read it with purpose. Okay? And then what happens is you see the things, and it's not because I'm saying, oh, that's not real. It doesn't mean that you don't have to believe that. I'm not telling you what to believe. You do the research. You may believe it. I can't tell you otherwise. You know what I mean? I remember the days when you sit down with Democrats and other third or fourth parties, you could have a conversation and everybody still went out, had fun, got married or whatever. But who changed the narrative? Who pushed the narrative? Well, if you incite enough pain, fact or fiction, real or not, and then you go to certain parties and you have certain people out there instigating certain things, and you see a lot of feds out there doing that. The FBI had a lot of people, and then actually hiring in every state crisis actors. Come on, I know I saw when they was hiring them here, and we raised hell. No, you motherfuckers won't. We might as well get 1776 the fuck on. Oh, but they're sneaky over here too. Be mindful. But I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there so you, all right? So we need to be able to ascertain things and be able to compose ourselves. Whatever I may believe does not necessarily mean that's what I'm not here to control your narrative. Remember I was saying the Chinese make a large quality of a lot of bullshit. So quantity of a lot of bullshit. So there's no quality. And with purpose to harm. Look at this new drug that's in Florida. It's over in Cali too, and maybe down in Phoenix. That's like crack and MDA and all that other stuff. Who's pushing it through? China. And yet you got Kissinger over there. You had Biden meet with the mother. Come on, man. All right. So anyway, let's get into this one. All right. Reptilians in the History of Humankind and Anunnaki. I could talk with this. I can do a podcast on that alone. All right. By Henry Crane. Okay. This is him right there. That's a motherfucker. Yeah, I've got books written by brothers. I'm not trying to pull them shit sticks out. They've just been in competition. We don't need. You could take. It doesn't matter who it comes from, people. If you either you know or you don't know, and if you don't know, then based upon your knowledge of what you know, and then express to people, hey man, just do the research. I can't tell you to believe what I'm saying. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the final decision of the Kaditsu, okay? Because you remember last time we were talking about the Grand Council, we were talking about the planet the people who betrayed and destroyed the planet, and you know what I'm saying? Okay. And then where its placement was supposed to be in the so-called, all right, when we know that it's the Earth. We'll get into that in Cross-Eyes Walls. Don't worry. There's correlations to certain things, even though the writers don't even know it yet. They're a lifespan away from each other. Anyway, after finishing the assembly of the Galactic Confederation, a group of Carians came to Earth with the Anunnaki commanded by Anu. Now, the task of the Carians was to transmit their knowledge so that the Lulu humans began to evolve. Remember we were reading the Hatha material? Talking about I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? The Carians. Anyway, began to evolve as they had agreed at the assembly. However, shortly after the Carians began with this arduous task, they found out that moles had been destroyed by the asteroid that the Palladians were to disintegrate. So they began to support that something was not right. They decided to return to their planet located in Orion to investigate what was happening, leaving in Eurus, the Earth. Okay? Leaving in Eurus, the Earth. I tell you all, this is all, but it's many names. Just for emissaries to transmit their knowledge to humans. That means to, okay? Before the return of the Carians to their planet, Anu saw the perfect opportunity to completely stop the plan to teach humans to look after themselves alone, for which he entrusted Enlil to tell all the Anunnaki not to help in this task. But in a discreet way, Enlil gave notice to all his followers to do so. And during the time of waiting for the interview with the Kaditsu on Earth, Enlil and Marduk, wow, what's going on here? Frustrated and desperately worried about their plans not being carried out. Now, the two had to wait for the Kaditsu's verdict. And something similar happened to Enki, because he felt that his creation was being wasted, and he could not help. He could not help it since he was constantly being watched by the Anunnaki, who were faithful to Anu. Now, on one occasion, he managed to get away from his watchers and take advantage of it to see how much the Atlanteans that were in America and the Lemurians who were in Asia had evolved. And he was surprised to see that while the Atlanteans in America had evolved very little in all this time, their population was increasing. However, the Lemurians, who had developed in technology, hunting, and gathering, had their population on a decline. So he decided to investigate it and discovered that the Lemurians were dying because of a rare disease and that it was spreading rapidly among all of them. Now, due to the short time he had, he could not investigate more of this disease and how it had originated. He began to take DNA samples from Lemurians, healthy and sick, and asked for support from extraterrestrials since his laboratory was closed by Anu's orders. In addition, he was forbidden to experiment with humans since the creation of the fifth race. Now, for this reason, he asked for help from the intraterrestrials because he knew that they were the only ones who were carrying out genetic experiments on the Abzu. You could consider the Abzu more like Neanderthal or something. And when he arrived with them, he was surprised to see that they had already created in the laboratory several species of animals. And when asked what they were going to do with them, they answered that they were going to be released on the surface of the earth. That is, they were increasing the diversity of life on Earth. Now, Enki asked the extraterrestrials to help him detect the rare disease that was killing the Lemurians. And the extraterrestrials refused because they did not know anything about human physiology. And what they had studied about it was very little. You know what extraterrestrial is? Underneath the ground, people. After a long negotiation, the extraterrestrials accepted the samples from the Lemurians and told Enki that they were going to do everything they could. And Enki gave them the samples and went back to his mothership since he had been absent longer than he could. 70 Earth years later, Enki escaped again and went to the Abzu to see the advances of the extraterrestrials. There they showed Enki a new human race created with Lemurian DNA and human DNA that the extraterrestrials had in the Abzu. They explained that this new breed had been improved in their immune system and that they were immune to the disease that was killing them. Enki at first was upset because by mixing these two types of DNA, this new hybrid race had lost the codones that it had activated and leaving it in only 20. Let's listen to this, leaving in it only 20 all the way from out of 24. Damn, they've been tearing them. Yeah, anyway, this caused them to decrease their stature considerably. Inky, annoyed, told them that he had asked them to investigate the disease, not to create a new race, to which they responded that they were not experts in human physiology, and that had been their solution. However, if he wanted, they could destroy the 10 humans they had created genetically. Inky, seeing that he had no other option, calmed down and kindly requested them to create 40 men and 40 more women and put them on the surface of the earth. And it was born. Then the sixth and last race of humans with a yellow complexion and slanted eyes and an improved immunological system. Inky released the 80 humans in Asia next to the Lemurians. It should be mentioned, and they had already lost 60% of their population. Therefore, the population remained distributed on Earth as follows: 70% was in the first settlement, located in what we know today as Iraq, and 8% were made up of slaves who were left in the African zone and who did not return to the first settlement, and 12% were the Atlanteans that were in America, and 5% were the Lemurians who were in Asia. And the remaining 5% were the humans who arrived on Zuzudras, remember him to be like Moshe, right? Boat, who were not returned to the first settlement because they were not the chosen people. It's getting meaty, right? Yeah, it's getting meaty. I'm fighting this thing, y'all.
Trauma hot.
Okay, let's get into Behold the Pale Horse, William Cooper. That was Trauma Hawk, but I'm live. I mean, you know, turn the notification on, you know. Anyway, this right here, we're going to read the small part, and then actually, that's where we're at. Wow. Go ahead and read this, and then the next chapter 12 is supposed to be there. But I want to read this again. So Randy states, I think where you're at right now with the data you have is, I mean, it's time to try to get it in front of people. And Bill states, yes, that's what I'm trying to do. And Randy goes, I'm in the process now of, as a matter of fact, when you called, I was drafting the cover of a fax that I'm sending to KGO Radio, which is a local radio talk station. It's a clear channel station, and it's heard all up and down the West Coast. And Bill goes, okay, great, fantastic. And Randy goes on even further and says, there's a moderator there named Ron Owens, who I'm sending this to him and with a statement. This is not being sent to you as a joke. Excuse me. It's being sent to you as something that I think you should take a minute and just read. Excuse me. I had a sneeze. I can feel it. Ooh, child. Oh, that was good. Okay. Ooh, shit, that hurt. And I've asked him to contact you. And basically, I said, Ron, if 10% of this is true, then we're in trouble. Just 10%. Bill goes, right, absolutely. And there's a lot. You know, when I give a talk or something, someone will always stand up and say, how do we know that you're not just feeding us this information? And I say, just think about what you're saying. What I'm after is the truth. I am telling you what I saw in these documents and where my research has led me over the intervening 17 years. And that's what I am imparting to you. I want you to go and verify this or not verify it or prove it wrong or whatever you can do on your own. And I'm perfectly willing to listen to anything that you have to say. But just think about what you just said. If in fact I'm giving you this information, then you're in worse trouble than you ever thought. It would be better if there are aliens, because if there are not aliens, that means this whole thing has been perpetrated by the government for some purpose that we don't even know about. What it really means is we got the whole human establishment against us. And that really opens their eyes, because it's true. And Randy goes, you just kicked off another memory. Now, I want to read that. We're going to save chapter 12 for tomorrow. Now, later on. That's if, unless we're doing a podcast, we're on a good day of shooting and everything. I'm not running around with this little freaking food poisoning running through my body with the chills and all that. The secret government, the origin, identity, and purpose of MJ Majestic 12, May 23rd, 1989, updated November 21st, 1990. The signs are increasing. The lights in the sky will appear red, blue, green rapidly. Someone is coming from very far and wants to meet the people of the earth. Meetings have already taken place, but those who have really seen have been silent. Pope John the 22nd, 1935. Google it. It gets pretty funkadory. Okay, it does. It really does. Just to let y'all know, it gets pretty funkadory. So I appreciate y'all taking the time coming in. Trauma, there you go. Yeah. I'm their friends. What's going on, beloved? So it's good to have y'all in here. I don't know if it's new state or went back, but anyway, let me get off of here. I got to really nurse this stuff because I can feel it. You know how you can feel it in your arms, right now I've got the air on 75. Usually I have it on about anywhere from 68 to 72 when I do turn it on. So I'm just letting the cold do its thing. I'm not taking a shower because that water, let me tell you something about the water. If you don't have what the billionaires have as far as that big $10,000 thing and they built right in out of their home to actually purify and mineralize the water, all the water out here is garbage. With PFAS, you know, the forever shit that they made. 1930 something when the little Ashkenaz created, the German motherfucker created the Teflon. Are you aware that the PFAS comes from the chemical to extract that shit? And then all the fake medication, Rockefeller fucking Foundation and this weird ass scientist probably yoked up, got to see some things you haven't, started creating all that bullshit when we cause them to live a little fucking longer. I'm just putting it out there, okay? So I don't like to wash my ass every day because all you're doing, and if I do, it's cold water. Like when every day I do get in cold water. I don't sit there because I use pine tar soap and that shit gets the tub black and everything. And I'm not gonna sit there scrubbing with bleach. I don't use bleach to clean my tub. It's pine tar, so it doesn't mold or nothing. All right, somebody may look at it and I'm like, motherfucker, wait until you ain't got a house. Let's see how you hang. You know what I'm saying? And it's I love it because I know it's clean. And I use cold water. I don't use hot water. I get in there and you might hear me whoo dancing, whatever. I know the benefits of keeping the pores closed because let me tell you something. Go get a bottle of water because it's all the same shit. Put it in a little cup. Go get your thing from Walmart or your water treatment. Order it from online and look at if it turns yellow, it's chlorine. If it turns green, it's orange. It's acidic. Blah blah blah. Put your fingers in there and then drop them things in there. Just that quick. Just stir your fingers around for like a couple of seconds. Then drop those things in there. You're like, wait, they're not turning green and stuff because all that shit absorbed in your fucking pores. Don't believe me? Go ahead and do it. All right? Just go ahead and do it. That's why when I look at people and I see how they're carrying themselves, how they're acting, and they know somebody wants to try me and this, that, and other, I already know. But the problem is they really don't know me. Okay? Get your little shot glass or something. Put your little finger in that motherfucker, right? Test. Say, wait, the shit ain't yellow or coming orange or green. Now, do it in the shit that you ain't put your finger in. It's yellow, it's orange, it's green. Stick your finger in 3 glasses and put them drops in each one, and you see them shits is very, very amber, very light. Because the shit's sucked up in your fucking pores. Trust me on this, all right? Just want to give y'all some things. I appreciate y'all having taken the time and coming in. All right, and y'all have a grand evening. Much love and respect.